Mao, ça tue, ça blesse, ça flingue. Hey, 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 Mao.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob ENT podcast, the best foot podcast in New Jersey. If you are on YouTube, you see that we have family in the building for tonight's episode. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your streaming platforms, Griffin Prock is in the building. Make sure that if you're listening, that you give us a 5-star rating, but turn it off and then go to YouTube. We try and get that YouTube check. So go to YouTube. We care about Spotify, but come over to YouTube for us. Griff, Miles, Greg, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Happy to be back on the show. Missed you guys. I know it's been a long off season, long summer across the board. Also, new intro tone. That intro was sweet. I was kind of vibing with that one across the board. And so I'm happy to be back. Happy to talk NFL. And I'm excited to have you guys back on the show during the middle of the season, as I'm going to be doing some more stuff on Show About Sports. So just always a good time chatting with you three.
Yes, sir, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing great that Griff is here. You have a bigger audience tonight. You know, the Proc Flock. I know they'd be waiting for me to kind of make my return. So here I am. I'm back.
Yeah, I'm doing good too. Can't complain.
Hey, man. On this episode, we're going to do a 12-pack of questions leading up into the NFL season. But before we get into that, y'all know we got some business to take care of. Like, share, subscribe, tell everybody about the podcast. We are trying to be here for a good time and a long time. And the way we do that, we have to educate the algorithm to push out this content to the masses. We're going to start off with this one. This question right here, which I think is relevant because it's always in the conversation, especially in the AFC, but specifically in the AFC West. Are the Chiefs the definitive favorite in the AFC West?
First of all, is this Sports Center right now? We got even a bar on the bottom. I feel like I haven't been on this show in a long time. This is incredible. Shout out to Tone, producer of the year right now. And to then second of all, the Chiefs have won the division since 2016. So definitive favorite, yes, there's no question. I don't care how much you like Harbaugh and Herbert. I don't care if you like Bo Nix and that good defense and Sean Payton. I don't even care if you like Geno Smith and Pete Carroll getting back together on the Raiders. You cannot say with a straight face that they're not the definitive favorites across the board, even if you have concerns about their O-line. They won 15 games last year. 15. That's stupid. Yes, they didn't look good, and everybody complained about the ball bouncing a certain way. That's life. So even if they lose 2 of those close games, 13 wins is going to get you this division. Mahomes is only getting better. Yeah, Kelsey might be sliding, but they got young guys coming in. Rice might get suspended, but we knew that. But it's better to have him a little bit more. They have a Josh Simmons coming off the edge. And when I say the edge, I mean the left tackle spot. That could be huge for them. I mean, what about the other teams tell you that they're going to take their spot? That's kind of where I leave it.
I do like the Broncos. I will say I'm not saying they're going to win the division, but I think you'd be an idiot not to pick the Chiefs. You know, all they've done is win, you know, for the last feels like a decade, and so on and so forth. But the Broncos look to be the real deal, man. I mean, the defense is solid. I'm not a Bo Nix believer. I will yell that from the mountaintops, but I am a Sean Payton believer, although I don't think he's a particularly great person. I think he's a great coach. And so I think that's what really matters here. I think he does a great job coaching offense, coaching X's and O's. He gets guys open down the field, and Bo Nix, give him credit, had a great year last year. Will he have a sophomore slump? I'm curious to see that, but I know he's being well coached over there. So with that defense and Surtain and all the other guys they got on that defensive front, right? Their offensive line solid. The running back position is good. They got the kid from UCF, I believe it was. I think it's Harvey over there.
Yeah,
that he's solid. I liked him a lot as a guy for the Giants, but he ended up there wearing orange. So, hey, man, I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be a wild card team at the very least, but they could challenge. I mean, I think whenever you see the Chiefs and Broncos link up, it's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a tough matchup. So I'm curious to see how it all works out. But I think the Chiefs are going to win the division, though. I mean, it's Andy Reid. They'll go 4-0 September. They'll have a little slide in the middle of the season. We'll complain. People talk about it, and then they'll bounce back and be great at the end of the year because that's what the Chiefs do.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, breaking news here on the show. Keenan Allen just signed to join the Chargers, aka come back home to the Chargers. Does that change anybody's opinion on the Chargers' chances? Because Mike Williams comes back, retires. Maybe Keenan Allen comes back, practices, says, "Yeah, I'm gonna hang it up," retires again. I don't know. I like all the other teams, like you're saying, but Greg, I'm with you. I got the Broncos number 2 in this division. I think the Chargers actually slide back, and the AFC remains the Chiefs.
No, I mean, I think the Chargers are a sad case of, hey, like you have a generational quarterback on your roster, and you have a crappy organization. I want to get demonetized. Crappy organization all around them. So yeah, I feel bad. I think the effort they put into finding talent on the offensive side of the football, finding receivers for him to throw the ball to is sad. If the exciting news of the offseason that you went and got Keenan Allen, a guy you already had, and he's still very good. Right? He's still a very solid player, but to not have a true number 1 wide receiver outside of Ladd McConkey, who's good too, it's tough. Like Quentin Johnson's still out there starting. That's all I need to know. The guy's hands are made of 2 bricks. So when you see that, it's tough, man. It's really tough, and I feel bad for Justin Herbert, but I will not tolerate Justin Herbert disrespect. I am number 1 in that fan club. So when I hear people putting certain quarterbacks over him, I'm not going for it. I'm not going.
You got to meet my brother, Greg. You got to meet my brother. Logan, I hope you're listening right now. Greg's a big Herbert fan. I can tell you which side Logan's on about it.
Acho
is crazy, by the way. Don't do that.
That's nasty work. Hey, you just mentioned really terrible franchises, terrible, confusing franchises that make decisions that really do not make sense. And it leaves the fans and it leaves those that like us that do podcasts and that has some question marks. Another team that does that is the Cleveland Browns. They now have 6 QBs on the roster: Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and of course the nasty man Deshaun Watson is still there. Who gives the Browns the best chance to win at QB?
I mean, it's Joe Flacco. I mean, everywhere he's gone over the last 4 or 5 years, he's expected. And I mean, all Cleveland's really looking for. They're not looking for anything flashy. They're not winning this division. They're the worst team in this division. So that's why you sign a guy like Joe Flacco to try to get you over until, I guess, Deshaun comes back. If you want him to come back, I don't know. Because if we're being real, they didn't draft Shedeur to come in here and be their QB of the future. I don't know if it was like publicity or because he's just falling and he's there, but I mean, he's never going to get a true shot in Cleveland. So we could just get over that, him starting at some point. Flacco's the guy. You sign Kenny Pickett, unserious organization. Like he wears 2 gloves. I love Teddy Bridgewater, but 2 gloves at quarterback is crazy. You're not a good quarterback if you have to wear 2 gloves. And Pittsburgh found that out real quick. And for some reason, Cleveland signed him to be the backup. So if Flacco gets hurt, which is possible, he's like 50. Who do you want to see? Kenny Pickett or Shedeur or Gabriel? And I think they signed dude from Huntley.
Tyler Huntley, my bad. I forgot to mention Mr. Snoop.
And I think that was because there's a couple guys like a little banged up. They had sore shoulder for Shedeur. I don't know how real that is. And Gabriel has a injury too, or Pickett. But this is not a serious team.
No.
I'm shocked that Myles Garrett even agreed to come back. But, hey, money talks. So it is what it is.
I think he's written off his chances at winning a Super Bowl and is just focused on making that bag in the league.
He's like Mike Trout. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, Tone, your question is great because who gives the Browns the best chance to win at quarterback? When I read that, I was like, we're asking the wrong questions because the Browns don't want to win games. You can go as Joe Bonito on the line, the most tenured player on the offensive line, 12 years on the team. He said at the training camp yesterday to NFL Network, yeah, we're just looking to hopefully play meaningful games in November. They just want to be playing in close games that kind of matter, that might be able to get them to the playoffs in November, not December, November. He just doesn't want to strap on the boots in September and be like, it's not worth playing for anymore. That's what the team's mindset is going. That's what the veterans are saying on the team. So they're not looking to win. So I think Joe Flacco gives you the best chance. I think they're going to trot him out there, but I also think they're going to give him chances to Shador, to Gabriel, to Kenny Pickett to see if there's anything there for the future in terms of a backup quarterback, or they might trot them out there with the hopes that they do fail and lose to then get to that place. I don't know how much sway the ownership and the GMs are going to be able to have in that, because Kevin Stefanski is going to be trying his butt off on the sideline. I don't want to get demonetized either. Shout out to Greg for that. But the Browns need to focus their season on getting out of the news, not being in it, because all they've been doing this offseason with all of their decision making is getting in the news. Even the Huntley signing is in the news. I'm sorry. Shador had a sore shoulder. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel had tight hamstrings. It's August. Like, why are we signing another guy to come in? Like, they're just in the news for the wrong reasons. Get out of the news. Focus on losing. Let that be the narrative, and don't turn on a show.
Greg, I want to ask you this. It was announced before we started the show, probably about like an hour before. Within that same vein, obviously, we pretty much all agree Joe Flacco is the best option. But they announced for the preseason game that Shador Sanders will be starting. What's your thoughts on the Shador Sanders saga that has been going on so far? We've seen some stats that seems like he's doing well. He's listed on the depth chart as the 4th quarterback, but gets the start for this first preseason game.
I think it's a sham. I think if you look at that quarterback tracker, Shador Sanders has grossly outperformed every other quarterback on the roster. I don't think you can really look at Joe Flacco's numbers and make too much of it. Obviously, at this point in his career, training camp's not the most serious proposition for him. He's not out there playing hard or anything like that. He's just trying to get through the summer without falling apart, because he's a bag of bones at 40 years old. So it's tough. But when you look at Shador and you compare him to Dylan Gabriel, which I think is the real competition here, I don't think Kenny Pickett even factors in here. I don't even know why he's in the roster, to be quite honest. He wears 2 gloves. He has small hands. And when he was out there before he got injured, he threw a bunch of picks, and we hadn't heard anything solid about him or good about him before he went down. The experiment is over. The experiment is over, right? But I think with Shador, and you look at him versus Dylan Gabriel, I think he's outperformed him. And I think there's this sense when I will look at this organization where it's just kind of like, hey, man, I don't think you guys really want Shador to play football. I don't think you guys want him on the field. I don't think you guys really wanted him there in the first place. I think that there's this sense that, hey, like Jimmy Haslam comes out and says, hey, I had nothing to do with that, right? Since when do owners come out and separate themselves from a pick? I've never even seen that before. It doesn't really happen, right? Unless the draft pick in question did something crazy, like ran someone over with the car or something, then I would understand why you're trying to separate yourself from the guy. But that's not what happened with Shador Sanders, obviously, as well. So I think something smells fishy here for sure. And I think you have to look at it from that perspective when you're talking about, Shador and what's going to happen this season. Obviously, I'm very happy he's getting the chance to start this weekend. I think he deserves it. He's performed the best. The only reason why he's starting, make no mistake about it, is A, because everyone else got injured. Dylan Gabriel also has a hamstring injury, so he's not going to play. Right. But also B, I think public pressure works. I do think the national noise about Shador Sanders is factoring into their logic a bit. They could have threw Tyler Huntley out there. It would have been the greatest sign of disrespect I've ever seen. Right. Because you don't know what Shador Sanders really is. Like he's a pick you made. You want to get him out there and get a chance to see what he can do. All right. But I heard he's getting first team reps this week as well before the game, which is exciting. He's earned them as well. I think the public is doing a great job of putting pressure on the organization, and hopefully we get a chance to see him play. And I think that if he gets that starting job, he'll keep it. I think he's doing a great job. I mean, who's to say how he'll do, but I think he's going to go out there and not turn the football over, be accurate, be a point guard, be Brock Purdy-esque in the sense that he's going to get the ball to where it needs to be when it needs to be there, play on time. As well. So I'm excited for him, but I also wouldn't be surprised at all if we're looking at this in 4 weeks and we're saying, hey, man, like Dylan Gabriel's quarterback number 2 and Shador's number 3, right? Or Shador got traded or whatever it might be. But I think if you want to sell tickets and put butts in seats in Ohio where there isn't much to do anyways, how about you start Shador Sanders? You may not win a bunch of games anyways if it doesn't really work out. And that's to your benefit, as we know they have a thing for Arch, right? And I'm sure if I'm Arch, I'm running away from them. But we know they have it's a worst kept secret. So you go out there and sell tickets. That's the goal, man. But I do think there's some foul play going on in terms of the way we got here. I don't think we got here organically. We should have gotten here organically because football's a meritocracy. He played the best. He should be playing with the ones a little bit. And it's not happening until now just because they're talking about it on Nightcap or they're talking about it on ESPN or whatever it is. Like, I don't know, man. Just feels weird to me.
Hey, I'm sure y'all seen the reports. They read a couple articles. They say that more than likely by week one quarterback on that Browns roster will be traded. So it could be Shador. It could be Two Gloves Pickett. It could be Tyler Huntley now that he's on the roster. We shall see. There's no way that they're going to be able to keep 6 quarterbacks on the roster. I don't even think you put any of them on the practice squad. You're going to go into the season with 2 or 3 quarterbacks, and that's it. That'll be right there. Griff, you mentioned something great, right? So you said they need to get out the news. They're in the news for all the wrong reasons. And a team that is constantly in the news. And, you know, the docket was created a little bit before everything happened. But we'll start off with this because we will probably, being that we have Griff on the show and Greg and Miles are great at navigating throughout an episode and throughout a question. Cowboys are always in the news, and 9 times out of 10, they are in the news for the wrong reasons. Before we even, because I'm sure you guys will touch on it naturally, the trade request by Michael Parsons, somebody that is on the roster and that wants to be on the roster, at least for now, George Pickens. Is George Pickens the key to unlock that Cowboys bleak offense, which we saw up and down last year, and it was pretty much CeeDee Lamb, and that was it?
I think so. I mean, I don't see why not. He doesn't have to be a 1 anymore. He was supposed to be a 1 in Pittsburgh. We saw the up and downness. Now he can really focus on being a number 2, really play a specific role too, not be moved around a ton. Let CeeDee catch all the attention of CB1, and then he gets the CB2s. But when we talk about what's going to unlock the offense, I don't know if that's going to unlock it. I need to see the run game develop. They were 27th in yards per game on the ground last year. Are you really excited about Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Blue out of Texas, who was taken in like the 4th or 5th round and often wasn't even referred to in this massive running back class as a guy to look out for, like a Cam Scatterboo to the Giants, who I think has a better chance of succeeding? I just worry because you can only throw the ball so much in this league without running the ball. You need to show the defense that you're willing to run the ball. And Javonte Williams is Mr. Left to right. He doesn't like to go north-south. Miles Sanders didn't make it on the Panthers. Let's start there. And then, yeah, like I said with Blue, he wasn't their top choice. So I was kind of thinking, yeah, trade Parsons to the Seahawks. We'll take him. You guys can have Kenneth Walker. You know, we'll talk about some running back trades that we might want to do here, plus other stuff. I would imagine that would work. But shout out to you, Walker, though. I want you on the team if you want to stay. But, you know, Mike is there. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Pickens opens up the pass game because, yeah, Brandon Cooks was cool. Turbin's cool. Those are all 3s, you know. We need a true number 2 next to CD, especially if you're just going to lean into passing the ball. So I'm excited about what Pickens can bring.
That was a real Greg, like, you know, plug right there. Greg always plugs the Giants. So, you know, plug the Seahawks, I feel you. You're right, though. They need a running back to unlock this offense unless they're going to throw for 5,000-6,000 yards this year, which it's unrealistic. It'll become easy to scheme against. And I don't believe in Dak Prescott to be able to just throw it a million times a game and lead you to victories. I mean, it just doesn't happen in this league anymore. So with George Pickens, it's a great trade that they made. It's worth a shot. Like, I don't know what they gave up for him, like a 4th, 5th round pick, if that. To be a number 2, now you have a nice duo right here. Opens up the passing game for Dak, who now he has a deep threat. Like CD really works in the intermediate, under the middle, over the middle, type of stuff. Pickens, he's that guy who can be like their Jamison Williams, who can take the top off the defense, and you just got to get him one-on-one. And I mean, is he going to complain about not getting touches or targets at some point? Who knows? That's been his MO. Maybe he's calmer in Dallas, but I want to see what happens with this running game with Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams. They took a chance on these two guys. You know, they let the guy who ran for 1,000 yards last year, I can't even remember his name, but he was solid for them last year, and they let him walk. So they're taking a gamble with these two castaways. And, hey, it could work. I mean, Javonte Williams had talent coming out of UNC, and, I mean, Miles Sanders is a couple years removed from 1,300-yard season with the Eagles, even though it's not the same. It's not the same.
That don't count. 13 that season doesn't count. He ran behind the best O-line of all time. So there's that.
Of all time.
I could get in the NFL. I could get about 700 yards behind the offensive line.
I don't think so. I think your 40 is like 4.9. So maybe if that, it's like a 5.
First of all, if I was running a 4.9 right now, that'd be great news. I'm probably sub 5, which is pretty impressive. As a civilian, I'm sub 5, and not every civilian can say that.
As a civilian,
I'm just saying that. As civilians don't run sub 5 miles. I'll tell you that right now. But I'm not a regular person. That's true.
To your point, Maz, the running back was Rico Dowdle. That's who, and I'm probably saying his last name wrong, but that shows who it was at running back. Anywho, you guys mentioned that the likelihood of them, throwing for 5,000, 6,000 yards, slim to none. But if you get rid of Micah Parsons, when this defense isn't that good as is, you might be in a situation where you have to be behind games throwing a lot. Greg, talk to me. What's your thoughts on the Micah Parsons trade request, which we know is different because it's the NFL. NBA, a trade request actually holds a little bit more weight. The NFL, I said it in our chat, I hope Terry and Micah gets freed, but more than likely, they are still going to be chained to their respective teams.
Jerry Jones is an attention whore. He just is, and everything he does, he sells out. He sells out for the front page of the newspaper for those who still read newspapers, or for the front page of, or for the top leading story on Sports Center or whatever it may be. Man, every time there's a negotiation with a player of any kind of relevance in the Cowboys, he's always playing hardball. He's always giving you guys a hard time. Jerry, being in the business as long as he's been in the business, is going to sit there and tell you with a straight face that he thought he was negotiating in good faith with Micah Parsons in person, face to face, without his agent present. And that's the argument. That's what you're telling us. That's what you're saying is the hold up here. Nah, it's not that. You just want attention. You want people to talk about the Cowboys, good or bad. You know that it's good for business, right? You want to be out there. You figure that any kind of publicity is good publicity. That's the reality of it. I truly believe that's Jerry Jones' MO, and I think evidence and time has proven that. I think we've seen it over and over and over again. He did the same thing with Dak, same thing with CD, right? And he's even comparing the contract negotiations, even saying that, hey, man, I feel like the fans last year were louder for CD than with Micah. Listen, the reality of it is he's not letting that guy walk, and he's going to pay him, right? All this is nonsense, is all smoke. I don't believe a single word of it. And I also say this, NFL players are, look, they must run into each other at full speed for a living, right? Obviously, it's what they do, and because it's affecting their brains. Because to sit there and think that a reasonable negotiation tactic is to go out there and request a trade in a sport where you guys negotiated the worst player CBA ever, where you guys have no rights and you guys are basically, I don't want to use the magic word. I don't want to use it, but you know what I'm saying. If you know. Where you got it right. So look, man, the reality of it is they have the franchise tag over you. They have 2 years of the ability to franchise you, not even just one. Right. By the time you're done with your franchise tags, and by the time you're done with living up the fifth-year option of your contract, if you're a first overall pick, that's 7 years of your career gone. Your prime is gone. They've got the best year of your years. You're gonna go to obscurity or sign a deal that you can't live up to somewhere else. That won't be guaranteed. That's the way this sport works. They've skewed it in their favor as the owners. That's what they've done, and they've utilized the brutality of the game to do so. So, look, guys, I think it's all much to do about nothing. I think Jerry knows they're not very good this year, and that if this Micah thing wasn't happening, there wouldn't be much to talk about as far as the Cowboys go. And the reality of the situation is they're in the worst contractual situation of any team I can think of in the NFL because, again, you've paid Dak an absorbent amount of money, even though his contract's coming to an end soon already, right? Because they have that opt out in the deal. And then you paid CD last year, and now you're going to pay Micah a ridiculous amount of money. So 3 of your guys are going to make like 60 to 70% of the cap. Good luck winning good football games. Good luck doing that. It's not a formula to win games. But you know who doesn't care about the Cowboys winning games? Me. I would be very happy if they lost every game from here to the end of time. So it's totally fine. I'm glad. And we talked about the running back situation. We talked about George Pickens and all that stuff. Let me tell you something. That team was very talented a few years ago, back in 2016 with Zeke and all them dudes when they were all on rookie deals. And now we're seeing the other side of it when you have to pay your guys, right? And you pay your top guys a ridiculous amounts of money because they're ridiculously productive. This is the other side of it, right? This is the other side of it. It might benefit them to trade Micah. Like some Cowboys fans would never get behind it, but it might benefit them because they need to restart that contract clock and get some new guys, some fresh blood in there on rookie deals so they can be competitive again. That's how they did it in the first place. And I don't like giving the Cowboys credit, but they do a phenomenal job of drafting. They just have, right? That's why they're in this situation. So why not take a few extra kicks at the draft as well? I don't know, just some thoughts, man. And also I'll say this too, Micah Parsons' performance, while he's still an elite player, all pro, there are plenty of games where I feel like I don't really see him as much these days. Last year, I didn't think he was like the dominant force he was early on. I thought the linemen were starting to kind of figure him out a little bit until he played with the Giants. And then all of a sudden he was got like 4 or 5 sacks. But everybody else, it felt like had a beat on him, man. So that was just my read on it. I'm probably wrong. The Cowboys fans will call me an idiot, but that was just my sense watching them play.
Griff, I'll give you the last words on the Michael Parsons situation.
It's pretty simple. Greg said it. I don't think they're actually going to trade him. There's not a lot of flexibility in that happening. You're not getting a ton in return like you would in the NBA. You're not getting 5 first-round draft picks for Rudy Gobert like you would for Micah Parsons. It's not going to be very good return on your investment. And we're past the point where you could use those picks in the draft to replenish your line to get another edge rusher. So that we're already past that point. They just like to do it this way. And I think Greg brought up a good history point there with Ezekiel Elliott. Zeke, they signed him early and often to a record-setting running back deal, which kind of cratered the running back market afterwards for everybody following Zeke because the Cowboys messed it up for everyone. And so the Cowboys have now reverted to the other side of the spectrum and are taking as long as they can, using the PR that they can and just generating the hype. And I think Jerry just likes picking up the phone to another owner, calling him and being like, hey, can we work out a trade? And he just wants to spitball for a little bit, like we're at a bar talking about hypothetical trades. I mean, you looked at his note paper. Jerry's not writing anything productive when he's at those meetings. He's just scribbling on a pad. So nothing's happening here. His sons are actually dictating what's going on here, I think. And Jerry just thinks he's in the driver's seat right now.
Speaking of being in the driver's seat, in that same division, the Philadelphia Eagles. They had a great offseason. As you will hear either before or after this episode, Griff has them in the way too early power rankings. That is the top team he has for them, are the Eagles. Looking at their roster, what they've done, still having Jalen Hurts, still having Saquon Barkley and the crew and the defense, are the Eagles, will they be the next dynasty?
Dynasty. That word dynasty. We love it. We love it as fans and analysts. But what does that even, how many years is a dynasty? Can we start there? 3 years? Are we calling that a dynasty?
I mean,
in
with
a
the
row?
Chiefs, with the Chiefs, that's a dynasty.
That's a dynasty? Yeah, okay. I think no then for the Eagles. I just don't think that's like it's plausible. Yeah, I think they could win another one. Maybe even a one after that with how they're currently structured. But the odds of that happening? Let's just go through it again. They play the Packers in round 1. Packers were pretty banged up by the end of the year. Jordan Love wasn't himself. Last year, the Packers, push the year before that, the Packers pushed some people around. They might win the division this year. That could be a different story. The Rams barely beat them in the snow. Shout out to Saquon and his legs running up and down that field to win that game. But that's kind of where we're at. And then the Commanders, I mean, welcome to the 6th seed Commanders. Let's talk about that. They weren't, they won plenty of games and they were great all year long. But if you're talking about a team that you want to play in the NFC Championship, you want to play the Commanders. So there's just a lot of luck that was involved with winning Super Bowls. There's a lot of injury hope. There's a lot of great play. But can they keep a dynasty going? Nah, I don't see them doing what the Chiefs have been doing over these past few years.
Miles, go ahead. Go ahead and say it. Yeah, go ahead. Because we know what's coming. I'm already knowing. They're going to be a dynasty. Go ahead and tell us. You actually gave Jalen Hurts his ring. You going to tell the classroom about how you did that? Like you gave him the ring and you presented it to him. I heard you got on a knee and you like opened the box and all this stuff and all that.
Oh my God. Greg hates the Eagles so much that he would stoop so low. No,
I like Jalen Hurts though. Respect to
This
him.
is a team that is well constructed. I mean, Howie knows how to build a roster. I mean, we've seen it since they won in 2017, and for them to bounce back, even after how catastrophic it was that Carson Wentz just tanked totally. And then you're able to build it with like Jalen Hurts and other fourth round picks. Like you get a steal with Mailata, who's a first time football player. So they know how to find talent, and he knows how to figure out the salary cap and all these contracts to prolong this team that they have. And the offense is still intact. Like they still have their 2 Pro Bowl level receivers. You still have the MVP talent like Saquon there. The offensive line. I mean, Greg will shout to the heavens how great their offensive line is. So this is a team that is built to continue to win. I mean, I'm interested to see how they look with this new offensive coordinator because, I mean, if we've looked at Jalen's tenure in Philly, he's had a different coordinator, it feels like, every single year. And when Doug Peterson was there, it was nice. But no, wait, Doug Peterson. That's my fault. Who was the coach for the Cardinals? I'm tripping. When
Gannon?
he was there, yeah, he was a offensive coordinator.
Correct. Yeah.
So when he was there, they had a great season. Following season, tanked it. Then Kellen Moore last year had a great season again. So now, I mean, he worked under Kellen Moore, but I'm interested to see how this works with this new OC. But they'll figure it out. It's the Eagles. They've been one of the best teams in the league for 4 or 5 years now, and I think they'll figure it out. The defense is the defense. Like they're loaded at corner. You've got a loaded front, even though you lost some guys, and their linebackers are nasty. So, I mean, they've got the best roster in football right now.
I just feel like it comes down to whatever team wins. We just talked about dynasties. Sorry to go to the NBA here for a second, but the Celtics win. Are they a dynasty? Thunder now win. Are they a dynasty? There's just so much involved and so much parity in today's game that I just don't think dynasties are everybody. It's one team, like the Chiefs right now, you know? And in the NBA, you can't even really name a team over the last few years. And so, Greg, I'd love to get your take on this word dynasty.
Well, I mean, I thought I heard Miles say "we" when he said "we'll." I heard him say "we'll figure it out." That's what I thought I heard him say. Is that what he said? We can run the replay back later on to figure it out. But nah, I mean, look, dynasty is about 5. I think it's like 5-6 years of sustained excellence in the NFL, and sustained excellence. It's not like a crazy wide spectrum in terms of what the definition is, man. You talk about winning 10, 12, 13 games plus games a year, and then making a run to that Super Bowl conference championship every single year as well. When you think about what that is now, who embodies that right now is the Chiefs, right? I think the Eagles are a close second, I guess you could say, but I think they had that rough year where they lost to Tampa Bay early in the postseason, not too long ago. The year where Jalen didn't look great and the offense didn't look great, and they really struggled as a unit. Right, and Sirianni was in the hot seat, right? Just the year before last, right, where that was the case. So I don't know that I could call them a dynasty because we have not seen sustained excellence for the entirety of Jalen Hurts' tenure there. But they are a very good football team. Saquon changed everything for them, right? Because now there's no good way to guard that football team because you can't stack the box and you can't play a dime package and have a bunch of DBs back there because you're going to get diced up by Saquon. So pick your poison every single time you're out there on the field with that team, right? And then defensively, they're phenomenal and do a great job drafting. So, I mean, look, man, they have the right to be called the favorite in the NFL, and that should be good enough. I know Eagles fans are the greedy type, so they would love to be called a dynasty right now. They'd love for us to be, praising them and and acting like we're at Sunday school with this team. But the reality of it is that I don't think they've earned the title of a dynasty or a dynastic team. Nah, that's not what this is. Win 2 in a row, and then we can have that conversation. Do that, right? But I think the more fun conversation with the Eagles, and again, I'm a big fan of Jalen Hurts as a human being. I think he's a good guy, good man. But the more fun conversation I have about them is the Jalen Hurts, where he ranks, like how you feel about him. I think that's the lightning rod conversation that's right in front of us, because Cam Newton and you know what he said. I'm just going to tell you guys, I don't think he was wrong. I don't think he was wrong at all. And I know Miles agreed, by the way, as well. We have evidence in lockup to suggest that Miles would also agree, which is crazy because he bleeds green, and not just for the Jets.
Before we move on, Griff, the Cam Newton back and forth regarding Jalen Hurts. Do you feel Jalen Hurts is a top 10 quarterback?
It's actually interesting. I don't think I've actually seen this clip. I've heard of this clip, but I haven't seen Cam Newton's side of it. So I don't even know which way we're batting here in terms of whether he agrees or disagrees with him as a top 10. Top 10 quarterback in the league right now? Yes. That's where I stand on that.
I don't think it was top 10. I think it was like even more. I think it was even more specific than that. It was like, I think the question was something like, it may have been top 5 tone, or like one of the premier top tier quarterbacks in the NFL. Like you know what I mean? Like when you think Burrow, Lamar, you think, Mahomes, right? Josh Allen, Herbert, right? I have some people who put Hurts over Herbert. Is he in that elite conversation for quarterbacks? That's the question. Top 10, maybe we count 10 quarterbacks. You won't get into Baker Mayfield territory, right? And I think Baker's been really good, by the way. There's a conversation to be had there. We can have a conversation about Baker Mayfield versus Jalen Hurts. We can do it. It's a conversation to be had. But okay, like let's say you put Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield. That's totally fine. I'm saying, like, is he in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in this game? One of the best of the best.
No, and I think it's fair to have tiers. I think there's tier A and there's tier B or tier 2, whatever you want to call it. And I think you can define it however you want. I think him and Herbert are kind of in that same tier together, and Mayfield maybe even. I mean, Goff gets disrespected every time we talk about quarterbacks. Like, that man is everything you want in a quarterback and gets you to those places. Jane Daniels is on the rise. Let's see how this goes. CJ Stroud, anybody? Do you like the way he throws the ball when he's not getting blitzed or the most pressures in the league? We can have this conversation all day. It's all situational. You put Jalen Hurts on the Chargers, I mean, I see similar results to Justin Herbert. You put Justin Herbert on the Eagles, I see similar results, so we're very results driven, which I think plays into this. And unfortunately, Jalen Hurts might be the most impacted negatively for winning. I don't know why, but he's the most impacted negatively for winning. And it just doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna read you the quote real quick, just so everybody is clear on it. Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but if we're talking about what they bring to the table, it's hard to judge what Jalen Hurts can do when you're throwing to a guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You have tight end skill set. You have a dominant defense, the best running back in the game. Download Madden and see how many stars on the offensive side of Philly. Cam decided to leave Jalen Hurts out of his top 10 quarterbacks, and that was his reason why.
Okay. So come on, he's getting penalized for winning. AKA, when I mean winning, he has a great team around him. That's not his fault.
He's getting penalized for having to do the least amount of work to win. He's a guy who has to, he just got to do a small part of the group product to get an A+. Now, has he showed up in big moments? Yes. Has he made some big throws? Yes. But over the course of the year, he does not have to be consistently great for that team to win football games. I don't think that's unfair to say. No, it's just fair. The truth. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why Cam's making that point. Cam's like, if he was on a team like the Chargers, we get to constantly, week after week, drag them out of the doldrum and get them to a win in the fourth quarter and throw them to a win. Is he going to be able to pull that off? He may sometimes, but we don't know. We don't know. Like, I think, and also when that team has not been as good around him, his performance has fluctuated. He has not been great when they have not been great around him. All right. There's evidence of this. It's not like it's something that people are just making up. No, like they have to be great around him for him to be great. I think that's the reality of it. Joe Burrow with no defense is going to go out there and go throw 5 touchdowns. We know what Joe Burrow can do. He's going to put a team on his back. He can do that, right? Does he deserve to be in that category of quarterback? The answer is no, right? Not many quarterbacks deserve to be there. Baker Mayfield out there throwing the Bucks. into wins. He does that, man. Like 500 yards, 400 yards, 40 touchdowns a season. He's been phenomenal. Is he that great of a pure thrower of the football on that tier? That's the tier we should be having a conversation about.
But it's the same thing. You have a lot of love for Mayfield, though, and I love Mayfield too. But he's
awesome,
Chris Godwin, Mike Evans. He's got Bucky Irving in the backfield. They got one of the best offensive lines. They paid one of the best left tackles in the game. He had two offensive coordinators who are now NFL head coaches in the league. Same system, same setup across the board. So
are they as good? Right? Are they as good as the Eagles, though? Right? I mean, you need some level of confidence.
And it's funny. You. Because we're not even arguing, because I'm with you. Joe Burrow and Justin and wow, what am I saying? And Hurts are two different tiers. 100% agree. But
here's my argument though too, right? I'm gonna keep it honest with you guys.
Yeah,
I think C.J. Stroud's a better quarterback than him. I think that Justin Herbert's a better quarterback than him. I think that Jaden Daniels is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I think all three of those guys are better quarterbacks, just off pure talent, what their team needs them to do every single weekend. Like, I think that, like, those guys were, like, special, like, damn near tier 1 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that second tier I'm talking about. So, some people would disagree. Some people would tell you that Jalen Hurts is the top of tier 2. I disagree. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, like I said, this ain't hating. It's just I get to see the guy. He's in my division. He ain't but a hop and skip away from me. I can watch the games. It's easy. And that's just my observation.
You had to watch him February 3rd. He wins the Super Bowl. It must have been hard.
Yeah, there you go. And by the way, when the lights are at the brightest, he performs. He deserves a lot of credit for that. But does that put you in that tier 2 over those guys? In my opinion, I don't know that I can do that.
That's fair.
Body of work. That's all I'm saying.
I'll give Miles the last word on this. Your take on the Jalen Hurts and the Cam Newton and the Philadelphia back and forth.
I mean, it's funny that we always have this conversation with Hurts, even though he's consistently shown that he can win in this league. He can make plays. Like, I wish he would have won that MVP when he was the MVP for 95% of the season. Because I would have loved to seen Greg discredit him for that too. Because that's what it's coming down to. Like, we're criticizing him for the team that he's on. Sure, the Eagles are a great team. But not everybody can take a great team and win. Like Joe Burrow, he's had plenty of chances in the past. He got to the Super Bowl, couldn't get it done. You got to be clutch. Hurts has shown that he can be clutch in the most clutch time. He's outplayed Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl. Like, what are we doing? Like, Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Is he better than Joe Burrow? Is he better than Patrick Mahomes? No, but he's a great quarterback in his own right, and he's the top 10. Like, winning matters. Being able to lead your team matters.
Yeah, and it's always interesting too. Go back to college with Joe Burrow. He's on the best LSU team, maybe best college football offense of all time. Speaking of Jamar Chase, speaking of every other LSU wide receiver that's been drafted, running backs, etc. But we don't ever dog him for like he just had so much talent. That's why he's not a good quarterback, because he has so much talent. You know, we're like dogging guys for having talent on their team. That's like,
I don't like this. I don't like the Joe Burrow. Don't bring up Joe Burrow. Don't
brought up Joe Burrow.
Two different quarterbacks.
But no, Miles did it.
Nobody compared Michael Vick and Tom Brady. Okay,
fine.
I'm not doing that whole debate, but they're great in their own right.
Okay, cool. They are great in their own right. But here's what Cam Newton is saying, okay? Some quarterbacks change your franchise. Some guys are floor raisers, okay? All right, and some guys are like that you can't bottom out with them. Okay, that's the reality of it. The truth is, with a guy Joe Burrow, when he got to the Bengals, they had no damn offensive line, and you knew immediately franchise quarterback with no offensive line. He was making that guys look good, throwing anticipation. He's the best pure. You could say he's the best pure thrower of the football in the league outside of Mahomes, and it's probably like right here, 1 and 2. Okay, the reality of where Jalen Hurts is. Think about it this way. I'm gonna put it in terms people understand. Okay, we didn't give Kevin Durant all the credit in the world for going to play for the Warriors. We didn't do that. We look at those championships and they're stained. They're stained because like he was at a brothel when he got them, right? They're stained. Okay, that's the way you look at those championships. So to sit here, if we can do that with Kevin Durant, who we know is great, right? right? But we don't think he can lift the team because he hasn't proven that and be the reason why a team wins, like without doing some ridiculous nonsense, like stacking the deck in your favor. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is not the same. He was drafted to the Eagles. He can't help it. But it's the same concept. He's on a team with a bunch of other Hall of Famers around him. And the Eagles, and that's not his fault. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Great for him. He deserves credit for that. But should he be in the conversation with guys like Herbert who have to carry the team every weekend, or Stroud? It's not his fault, but that's the truth of the matter. And we know where we're going to stop. This is going to stop when the Eagles finally in a position where guys have left. And now Jalen Hurts is there, and he's making all this money, and now he has to carry that football team every single weekend. He does not have to do that. They could put the ball in Saquon's hands 30 times and go win a game, and he can throw the ball 15 to 16 times, and they can win. Actually, they did it a few times last year. Okay, so those other quarters.
When did the Cowboys do that then? They had a great offensive line with Dak. Why didn't Dak Prescott?
Okay, hold on. We've already proven that Dak Prescott can throw his team to a win. All right, we done seen that already. That's what we not see. We already done seen it. We in regular season he's done it. He ain't got no ring, but he ain't got no ring. Of course not. But the Cowboys have never been as good as the Eagles.
What about a second round of the playoffs?
Yo, in our lifetimes, there have not been many teams as good as the Eagles are right now. Period. Maybe those Patriot teams, but truly, like this Eagles team is ridiculous. It's a monster. Like the offensive line, there's no holes. There's no holes in the football team at all. Maybe more so this year with the D-line. There's some questions because they let some guys go, but that is it. They are loaded. And Jalen Hurts has been the beneficiary of that. Good for him. Not saying otherwise, but I think like it begs the question, like how good is that guy, right? How much does he have to do? It's not crazy. It's not crazy. And I think when you say, well, he's a winner. Okay, and the sky is blue. Yeah, he's a winner. He's a winner because he plays on that team. Like, great. That's what I'm saying. But what would it look like if he played for the New York Giants right now or something like that? Would I be a better football team if he's on my roster? He would be, but how much?
We talk about how hard the quarterback position is in the NFL and how it's the most important position. But then when Jalen plays it, it's like, no, that's the easiest position. He's just out there he's just touching some leather and he's out of there. Like,
hey, we don't say he don't deserve credit. We're just saying that it's a lot easier to play quarterback.
I don't know why you keep saying we. You're on an island here, Greg.
Oh, am I on an island? We roll the tape. There's plenty of pundits out there who think the same thing, right? It ain't that crazy to say. And by the way, it's not me discrediting him. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's probably 9 or 10 net range. I think he is. I think he's 9 or 10. By the way. I think Jared Goff, in the same way I talk about Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff is the same thing. He's a beneficiary playing for a great system, playing behind a great offensive line with great weapons. He's a beneficiary of those things. The Lions have earned the right to be in that position because they drafted well, but he still benefits from playing behind Penny Sewell and them dudes, right? He just does, okay? It's a great situation, okay? And I think that Jalen Hurts, for what it's worth, is better with the lights on. That means something. Yes, it does. Maybe that knocks him into top number 7 on the list, right? But I'm not going to give you C.J. Stroud over here. You're not going to tell me he's better than C.J. Stroud. You're not going to tell me he's better than Jaden Daniels. You're not going to tell me he's better than Justin Herbert. Those are indebatable outside of the top 4. So right there, that's 7? So he's going to be 8. Jalen Hurts is 8 in the NFL. He's the 8th best quarterback by by my logic. All right, because C.J. Stroud is phenomenal. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that game with you. I can't. Don't even ask me.
But I feel like those guys have stuff to prove. Like CJ's going into his third year. He had a great season, took a step back next year. What does he have to do this year? He has to take that step forward. If he doesn't, are we still having that same conversation?
Yeah, listen.
What are you gonna make? Oh, no,
listen,
this and that. Of course.
Hey,
until the sky is blue.
As a guy who evaluates talent for a living, I can tell you right now, it ain't all equal. And I'll tell you this: if C.J. Stroud played for the Eagles, we'd be in the same spot. Maybe you couldn't run a tush push. But that'd be it.
For people, that's it. You're gonna be sitting on that rocking chair when you're 50, making it. If C.J. Stroud had that same team, he'd have 3 or 4 rings. We don't.
Why can't we use
with these first take debates? These silly Stephen A.
No. This is what it's about. Hey, this is what it's about. It ain't no Stephen A. stuff. This is the reality. I'm telling you right now, man. Like, why can't we use common sense when it comes to this stuff? Like, I just think it's easy. Like, hey, man, he plays on a great team. He doesn't have to do as much as other great quarterbacks in the NFL. So we're asking just how great you are. That's the only thing. Just like Kevin Durant, it's the same thing. You went to Golden State, and like, hey, like what did that prove? You ain't prove nothing. You didn't do. What do you think you did? You ain't do. All we know is that you're a whore. That's all we know now. We don't know that you're like. What we don't know that you're like. What does it do for your legacy? You know what I'm saying?
Sticking in the conversation. Sticking on the conversation with quarterbacks. Very good, healthy debate right there on the Jalen Hurts discussion.
I guess it was talking about KP a whore, right? It was only till then.
It would. Oh, much more. It's always good when we end up talking about Jalen Hurts, especially being that two of the people on our show are fans of teams in the same division. But staying in that quarterback conversation, a quarterback that has not thrown a pass yet, taken a snap yet. Cam Ward, what type of year do we expect from Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans?
I mean, it sucks that he's on the Titans, but they do have some weapons over there. Calvin Ridley's over there. We got Tony Pollard still. I think he could have a solid rookie season. Do I want to say like Jaden Daniels from last year? Maybe a little less than that, but I can see him stepping in right away and really lifting the ceiling of this team, because this is one of the best quarterbacks to come into the league in the last 5 years. I put him right behind maybe Caleb Williams and a couple other guys. Like, his talent is undeniable. Like, he can make some throws, and it looks so easy that, like, this is the best quarterback. That's why when they were doing the debate, like, oh, are they going to trade the pick or not? It's like, are you stupid? Like, you take the pick every time. You need a quarterback. You going to run Mr. Mayo out there? Like, you're not doing that. So Cam Ward, he's my favorite right now for Rookie of the Year coming in. And I do think what I've seen so far in training camp, they're clips. Like, they're not going to put out a bad throw. But he's special. He throws with anticipation. He moves around the pocket like it's a drill. So I'm intrigued by him. I think they could make a similar leap like the Texans did a couple years ago when Stroud was a rookie.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Shedeur has definitely got a bet. Second place, probably odds. Pretty good for a Rookie of the Year. No, probably not. Probably not. That didn't land. When we look at the Titans overall, here's the problem. I'm with you, Miles. We can't get excited about the Titans because we have to see if Brian Callahan is even a good coach in the NFL. Let's start there. Let's see if he can scheme up an offense that we really liked when he left the Bengals there to go over to this team. I really need to see that kind of, there's that Joe Burrow type offense that we're looking at there. We also need to look at those weapons because Cam Ward's already described in training camp reports the offense is very mid right now. That can mean a lot of things. That can mean players are looking a little mid. That can mean the system's looking a little mid. I'm leaning more towards the system is looking a little mid. But I just think Cam Ward needs to look like Cam Ward from college. He luckily is to come into this year with no expectations that were like the QBs that were drafted last year. People have already written off Cam Ward. Even though people like yourself, Miles, and myself really like Cam Ward and think he could be a great quarterback in this league, they've already written him off. So expectations are back. If they win 6 games, 5 games like the Bears did last year, people are going to be more excited about Cam Ward's future than they were about Caleb Williams' future. So I'm actually kind of interested as long as Cam Ward looks like himself, doesn't turn into somebody else on the football field because he's an NFL quarterback now, I think we could see some good things. And it's all about just moments for him in year one that I'm looking for.
I want to stay with you, Griff. Which Sam Darnold will we see with the Seahawks?
Oh man, I want to see last year's Sam Darnold, but I know that's not possible because we don't have Justin Jefferson. We don't have an offensive line that's built different. We don't have Kevin O'Connell. What we do have is we have first-year OC with us, but was on the Saints before, Clint Kubiak, which was very exciting at the time. But all of a sudden, we're kind of pulling back our expectations, especially analysts like Mina Kimes, who cover the Seahawks primarily or just as a fan. Everybody's kind of stepping back like, wait, why did we like the Kubiak signing? He didn't really show us much with the Saints, but then you can go to the Saints and be like, they didn't really have much last year. So him doing anything with them was good. With Sam Darnold, though, he needs an offensive line. We saw that late in the year. When that offensive line got hurt in Minnesota, he started breaking down. Don't matter who the weapons are. But we just need to figure out our running game. Last year, nobody talked about it, but Ryan Grubb couldn't set up a run play to save his life. We couldn't run outside zone, inside zone, power, anything. So we need to develop a run to be able to open the play action and move Sam Darnold out of the pocket, get him a little bit more comfortable. But here's the thing. We're getting Sam Darnold when he's confident. We're not getting to the Panthers, to the 49ers, and then to the Vikings. We're getting Vikings, almost NFC Championship, all the way now to our team. So I'm excited. I think we should see a good Darnold. He's got Cooper Kupp. He's got what's his name? JSN on the outside as well. Walker in the backfield. I think 10-7, right at home. That's a great season, and I think Sam Darnold can do that for us.
I'm going to go to Greg. Giants defense this year will be a top what defense?
I think they could be a top 5 defense in the league. I really believe that with that pass rush. And I think it's, people talk about the top and the end guys. They talk about Abdul. They talk about, Kayvon to a lesser degree. And Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, who Dexter Lawrence is goated. But then you got to look at the rotation they have. And they have guys like Chauncey Golston, who, is a solid player in the NFL, a really good defensive end in this league, and was really good with the Cowboys for a long time, and certainly tormented the Giants. So, I mean, you got to look at the rotation of guys they have, right, and the way they can come at you throughout the course of a football game as well. So I think looking at that, and then looking at the improved the back end of the defense with Javon Holland and Nubin, who's in his second year, going to take a step forward. And then the Paulson Debo signing, which I liked a lot. He was real productive in New Orleans. I think they have a real shot. I think they have a real shot to be a top 5 defense, to be a defense that's really stingy as well, to tighten up in the red zone, be a tough team to score against in the red zone. But they're going to get at the quarterback. That's one thing for sure. And that's Giants football. If you're a Giants fan, that's throwback, man. Like, that's what we came up on. So it's going to be exciting to see them go after the quarterback and to watch offensive lines have to pick their poison, essentially, right? I think that's the fun part. So that's the backbone of the defense, that defensive line, and especially those edge rushers. But then you got, again, I can't imagine where Dexter Lawrence is getting one-on-ones as much as he's going to. But, like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to chip Abdul and double Dex? Well, then you're leaving Brian Burns on the island. Like, good luck. Like, it's just going to be tough for teams. They're going to get real creative in the way they can get after you. And I think that people, when they pick the Giants' record this season, they're discounting that. A pass rush can win you a football game if your offense is somewhat average, which I think this offense will be with Russell Wilson running the show. They'll be average at the least is average, right?
Does it worry you, though? Last year, without Abdul, QB hurries 24th, sacks 10th. We like that, but pressure rate 18th. So top 5. I mean, Abdul can bump you up the top 5 because I'm out on Thibodeau. I think he's a little too much in his head about how good he is, and I just don't like that. Burns, I mean, he's on your team for a reason. That the team that had him didn't want him, and I love Lawrence, and I think Abdul's great. So I'm just saying those numbers from last year, add in Abdul, top 5. I don't know which metrics you're looking at, Greg.
I think Abdul's going to make him top 5. I think Abdul's that good. I think the stuff that's coming out of camp, I think the stuff I've seen from Abdul, you don't see pass rushers with that skill set, like, really ever. It's rare. Like, he's a unicorn. The way he moves, it is Michael Parsons-esque. But I think by the time he's done making a name for himself, we could be having a different conversation altogether. Where it's like, yo, is he better than Michael Parsons? Like, that's how good this guy is gonna be. I really believe that. I'm a believer. I'm a believer in that sense. Brian Burns was really good last year. Azeez Ojulari played a big role in their pass rush success as well. He got injured. He gets injured. He wakes up and he gets injured. That's his thing. Like, he wakes up injured. So I think Eagles fans will find out about that this year. Hopefully he's okay. He has a good year. But I mean, look, the guy steps out of bed, stubs his toe. He ain't playing for 5 weeks, and it hurt us last year as well. And also, the thing that people have to understand about rushing the passer, and the reason why those stats are the way they do is because, hey, guys, like, when you're losing a football game, you ain't rushing the passer. That's not really the way it goes. When you're behind in a game, right, and teams are running the football and having success running the football on you, right, you ain't rushing the passer. So I think it's been tough. I think they beefed up the interior, the defensive line. They got Darius Alexander. They got some other guys come in, some other veterans, Roy, whatever his name is, Harris Roberts, whatever his name is. I don't know what his name is, but he's solid, right? And so I think he played for the Seahawks. You might know who I'm talking about. But
yeah, we didn't want him.
There you go. Well, it don't make a difference. He's here. He's going to help out. I know Griff's going to rag a little bit about the Giants. That's okay. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to get after people. They're going to stop the run. They'll be solid. They got a nice rotation on the inside, so Dexter doesn't have to play as much.
Was
I
that
like
before or after ranking 27th in rush defense last year? Was that before or after?
This is after ranking 27. They added guys, man. I'm talking about now.
I just knew you were going to be too positive on this defense because you saw a couple clips of Abdul. Come on, Greg. Let's be real.
Man,
Top five defense.
They're going to be a good defense. I have reason. I mean, last year they did a pretty good job in spots. It's hard when your offense doesn't score. It demoralizes you. Daniel Jones was awful, and I think that hurt them. But I thought the game when Joe Burrow came to town, they shut them down. They should have won the game, but Daniel Jones missed some wide open throws. Like for Daniel Jones, it is what it is, and we lost. But they were good in spots, man. So I think they can find a level of consistency with the additions they've made. I think Giants fans have a legitimate reason to be optimistic about the defense and optimistic about the future of the franchise without Daniel Jones moving on from that dark cloud. I think that's just all something to be positive about. They may not be top 5, but I'll tell you one thing: they'll be top 10 at the very least. I think they'll be top 5, but I'm saying if they're not, they're going to be within the top 10. That is my honest to God assessment. So we'll see.
All right, we're going to end off with this as the last question. We reached for a 12-pack, but me as a producer, I probably messed up because I asked about Saquon.
We just got a little tipsy, like 5 drinks into this 12-pack. We just got a little loose.
Yeah, the Jalen Hurts. We stayed at the bar a little bit longer at the bar. So this will be the last question for this episode. It'll be an 8-pack episode. That's the great thing that the episode has not come out yet. And I did not put a number on the thumbnail. So it turned out to be an 8-pack. I think out of the questions that are left, this is probably the most interesting one. We got questions about the Jets and Fields. We already seen what we've seen with that. Of course, McCaffrey and his health. That's a question every year. The Bills, we'll have to see in the playoffs. Texans, we'll have to see. Did they do enough to get protection for CJ Stroud? But I think the most intriguing question that is left: can Ben Johnson help Caleb Williams reach his potential?
Absolutely. Straight up, absolutely. But here's the thing. We have to be careful on how to give credit, because you're going to look and you're going to see Caleb Williams hit wide open receivers all next year. And we're going to be like, Caleb's finally figured it out. He knows how to play football. But if Ben Johnson schemes it in a certain way that he's not playing and he's following the system, we have to actually give Ben Johnson more credit. This is the one opportunity where we might be able to give a head coach a little bit more love, like we did with O'Connell last year with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold wasn't everything we wanted him to be in a top 5 quarterback. This could be the same thing. So if Ben Johnson can elevate that, I think he absolutely can. But I worry we're going to stray too far to the Williams side where he figured it out. But sometimes I think this is actually the coach helped him figure it out situation.
Look, I have real concerns about Caleb Williams. And so I'm going to lean no on this question, not because I don't think that Ben Johnson can coach, because I think Ben Johnson coaches a very different brand of quarterback and has success with a very different brand of quarterback. Goff is limited athletically, so he's going to drop back and process what he has to process and get the ball out on time. Caleb has never really thrived doing that. He's always played Superman, and that he calls himself Superman, and he runs around and he makes guys miss, and he makes incredible throws in the run. That is his superpower, right? That's not a Ben Johnson offense. It's play actions, get the ball out, it's get it out on time. And I from the clips I've seen at practice, I'm telling you, like, I'm putting stock in these practice clips, man. Like, when I see you drop back and you're trying to throw balls to the net and you're missing left and right, and your feet look crazy. Like, I'm seeing that your feet ain't even aligned with the target. Like, you're throwing across your body almost, and you're just missing, and it looks crazy. And so I just wonder about his fundamentals and where he is from a fundamental standpoint as well. And then again, like, when you run a play action offense and you run in boots or whatever and all that stuff, the ball got to be where it's got to be on time. And I just wonder. I think even last year, like, he didn't maximize DJ Moore. DJ Moore was really mad at him, and you could see it, and it was a real thing. And by the way, it was justified. Like, he is not hitting his targets. He's not hitting his mark, right, when he drives back to throw the football. And I think that's a legitimate concern, a legitimate issue with him. And I don't know that it got better this offseason. I guess we'll see when the lights come on, obviously. But I just have real concerns from what I've seen from him because there's a lot of the same issues I've seen persist from last year. And that was the knock against him coming out. The talent is there. He can make any throw in the world. He's one of one gifted. But I just don't know about his ability to actually play the quarterback position. And I think that's the scary part about him. Like, can you play the position? Can you prosecute the process and make the simple things simple? That I don't, keep it simple, stupid, right? Can you do that? I don't know. I don't know.
Hey, like you said, the talent is there. Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. It's just that simple. And the reason why that you're able to do that and the hard work beats the talent when the talent fails to work hard is because you stay ready. So you ain't got to get ready. Mitch Mob, we out. Peace.
Peace.